Welcome back to Texas Top Homes, where home buying, selling, and financing are all simplified. I'm your host, Freeman Sawyer. With me is my co-host, Tracy Wiesman. Today we're visiting with the one and only Doc Compton. Doc is one of the nation's foremost authorities on credit repair and credit restoration. Doc, thanks for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
So, Doc, if a listener has some credit challenges, or maybe they're that move up, they want to get their score a little higher, like you just mentioned, how do they get in touch with you at Omega? What do you guys do to help them? Maybe explain a little bit more of that process.
Well, Omega Credit Repair was originally opened in 2004. I owned it until probably the last 4 or 5 months or so, at which point my best friend of 20 years and right-hand man in the company for the last 10 or 11 years, David Dishman, took over. And he now has ownership. I've stayed on as kind of a technical consultant. And ultimately what that means is I've, through some of my other projects, I'm still very actively experimenting with different types of communications with creditors and collection agencies and the bureaus themselves. I do a lot of research on court cases against collection agencies in particular, so that we can figure out what's going to work best to get the best possible result when working on a consumer's credit. Effectively, what Omega does is go through consumers' credit reports, identify potential inaccuracies or pieces of information that are incomplete or outdated, contact the bureaus, the creditors, collection agencies, ask that the information be verified or validated based on industry guidelines and federal law. And in many instances, because the information is woefully short of the standards set forth in either of those, the information has to be either corrected or deleted as though it had never even been there.
Come off. Sure.
Obviously, with those changes comes the increases in the credit score, which puts people in position to get their loan.
And maybe give us a high and a low. What is the timeline? A customer contacts Omega and they need some help, right? And they've got a couple blemishes on there, right? Maybe some of them are real, maybe some of them aren't. But what can they expect the timeline to be to actually get some resolve with you guys?
Well, that's a very interesting question. It's a fair question, but it's a difficult one to answer without sounding a bit like a politician. Reason being, people come to us with very, very different scenarios.
Sure.
Some people come to us and they only have 5 items on their credit report to begin with, and one of them is inaccurate or incomplete. If we're wildly successful and get that one thing taken off, well, then obviously we look like rock stars.
Sure.
And it happens in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Okay.
Other times there's company or people that have 10 companies on there, all of which need to be addressed.
Sure.
Their scores are very low, and it's going to take a considerable amount of work. And more often than not, that's a factor of which companies are on their report.
Okay.
People think, well, you can't do anything with student loans. That's not true. Certain student loan companies are easier to deal with than others. Well, you can't do anything with a bankruptcy. Yes, we can. If it's not reported accurately, completely, it's not timely or verifiable, then yes, that is subject to the same exact rules that a collection account or credit card account would be. So in terms of how long it typically takes, there's no definitive answer, but some people, it can be as little as 45 days. Some people, 6 to 8 months, depending on their situation. Obviously, their participation in the process is paramount.
Sure.
If they're doing the things that we're telling them to do, if they're effectively managing the credit that they have, or establishing credit if they don't have any, and we're trying to build their score kind of from scratch.
Right.
All of those things play into it. We typically try to shoot for at or about 4 months or less. Our billing structure is actually set up to accommodate that very deliberately. We are referral only and have been since our inception. We don't have commissioned salespeople, no paid advertising. Our partners, real estate people, lenders, auto sales and finance, those are the people that are sending us business every month. And obviously, we want to close business for them as quickly as possible, so they'll continue sending us business next month.
Right.
The more business we can close for them, obviously the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we try to do it quickly.
Absolutely. And so obviously we send you business as well too. So when you get a customer out there who's decided to kind of mentally put themselves in the market, and we pull their credit and we know, hey, there can be an improvement here, right? And it could be someone with a low score, but there could be someone with a high score, and they need some help from you, right? We make that referral to you so that they can get themselves prepared before we actually submit the credit report to underwriting for an approval, which starts to affect debt to income ratio and interest rate. Maximize the credit score as high as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Hey, Doc, thanks for being on the show today. If for our listeners out there that want to reach out to you and get things started, what's your website?
www.omegacreditrepair.com or my personal website, .compton.com.
And if they want to just call you direct and get it going now?
214-733-8336.